Hello, welcome to Jennifer's Magic Book Club. Today I'm here to read a novel which is called The Science of Breakable Things. So I'm going to continue reading this novel from assignment 9. So I'm going to start. Mr. Neely had decided to give us a break from cutting open small animals and watching boring videos to return to a scientific process. He reminded us to keep working on our long-term project. He also gave me a friendly reminder to find a question to investigate. Question: at what temperature does water boil? Answer: 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius, according to Google. #done. And because I finished my homework early, I figured I might as well investigate my secret question. The question I couldn't find the word for. I let myself into Dad's office. He sat with his back to me, hunched over a bunch of files on his desk. His office is bright with big floor-length windows and lamps. Lots of lamps. He's all about brightness now that Mom has retreated into dark. Dad, I walked up behind him, feeling like a shadow. He stirred a little bit and turned around, blinking at me like his eyes were adjusting. "Hello, Natalie, what is it?" he said, all formal and weird like he always get when he's working. "I'm doing research for class," I said. He glanced down at my notebook and relaxed because research is where Dad's most comfortable. He's safe inside statics and diagnosis and actionable next steps. I looked down at my notebook, got my pen ready to show him this was strictly business, and continued. "What does it mean if someone only likes to be in the dark?" I could tell he saw right through me because he tensed back up again. "Natalie," he said, drawing my name out cautious. I pressed on, staring back down at my notebook because I didn't really want to know the answers, but also I really did. "Why would somebody stop caring about their family?" I asked Natalie. Dad said again. He nudged my notebook all away so he could look me right in the eyes. Dad believed in eye contact. "We should talk about your mother. We should talk about how you're feeling." I told him I didn't want to talk about my mother or my feelings. What I wanted was to finish my science assignment. But Dad was looking at me with those terrified eyes, saying, "I want you to know what's happening with your mother has nothing to do with you. That's the problem. I don't seem to affect her at all, and that has everything to do with me." Of course, I couldn't tell him that, so I said, "Never mind," and left his office. He was conflicted, I could tell, but he didn't follow me. I didn't know where to go then. I felt trapped between the dark of Mom's room and the fake light of Dad's office, and without thinking, I went to my bedroom, grabbed Mom's book, and walked right outside into Mom's greenhouse. My earliest memories are of being in that greenhouse with Mom, growing our little plant family, following her rules, watering and fertilizing each seed just right. A few months earlier, the greenhouse had been beautiful, blooming with life and colorful and real, delicious light. It was less beautiful now. In the summer, when Mom stopped working caring, Dad went into a frenzy over the flowers, brimming with energy I'd never seen him, watering and weeding and watering some more. Dad spent hours in the greenhouse trying to save the plants my mother no longer loved. He loved them too hard, if you know what I mean, if you know plants at all. Some of them survive, but you're not supposed to water plants too much. They need space. Funny, huh? Mom and I used to spend all our time in here touching and smelling the flowers, talking about life and soaking up sunlight. But today I stood in the corner for the first time in 6 weeks, staring at our used-to-be plants brown and crisp and dead all over. In the center of the greenhouse, one tall stem stood alone, brown like all the rest of the plants. The petals had long abandoned it, but it used to be blue, a brilliant magic kind of blue, a cobalt blue orchid, a plant with a brand new Latin name, a miracle plant all our own. I sat down on the dirt floor beneath the row of dead plants so I couldn't see them and held Mom's book in my lap. I didn't mean to read it. I meant to turn around and go back inside, but my hands opened the book almost without meaning to. That excited, nervous feeling came back as I smelled its old book smell, and I turned to the cobalt blue orchid section and read Mom's words. In San Juan, New Mexico in 1991, a pipe at a power plant burst. The town was contaminated with toxic amounts of metal and chemicals in the soil, but all the people were safe. The flowers were not. All the flowers died, every last one. Toxic amounts of cobalt and aluminum saturated the earth, poisoning the plants. Nothing could grow, and nothing did grow. Until 2 years later, seemingly out of nowhere, an orchid sprouted, a shock of blue in this vast expanse of empty dirt. Not too long after, another emerged. Soon enough, there were bright blue orchids blooming all over the field. Imagine it. Imagine driving past this field of dirt every day on your way to work, past all that nothingness, and then one day flowers. Beautiful blue flowers everywhere. First nothing, then everything. I read on past Mom's chapters and antonicum pigments and active ion transport, past her talk of hybrids and fungus and moss. The sun started slipping away and the light in the greenhouse faded. I kept expecting Dad to come find me, to tell me to come inside for dinner, but he never came, and I kept reading. Perhaps you have to be the botanist to understand the significance of these cobalt blue orchids, to know how delicate orchids are, how they die without the perfect amount of sun and just the right amount of water. And you would have to understand the sheer impossibility of a blue orchid in order to understand the miracle of these flowers. How this delicate orchid somehow sprouted when no other plant could. How it sucked those toxic chemicals straight out of the earth and turned them into beauty. But I like to think that even without knowing the 90-gritty of how plants work, all you'd have to do is stand in the middle of that shocking blue field to know that this is science at its almost miraculous. It's most magical. Mom was the one who believed in this flower and all it could do. She told the story a million times, how everyone was shocked and amazed by the color, how all the other botanists studied the blueness, but Mom said, wait, there's more. There was a magic in leaving through the chemical poison, and Mom was the first one to realize it. And while Mom and Mrs. Manzer studied the cobalt blue orchid in their lab, Mom and I kept our own orchid in a greenhouse. We nurtured it and cared for it and loved it. We kept it safe. And now it's dead. My mother, the one who once wrote about science and magic and miracles, let it die. I felt that whirring, sparking feeling in my chest again. An idea was starting to click into place. Because even though our orchid was dead, there was still that vast, beautiful field of blue all the way in New Mexico, full of miracles and hope. Maybe Mom just needed to be reminded of that. Maybe she'd forgotten. So I'm done reading till the end of assignment 9. I hope you're joining with me and see you later. Bye. Have a nice day. Thank you.